We have failed to understand. We have failed to understand. What do you mean by that? We have the finest technology that civilization has ever seen. We have gone to the moon and beyond. Yet despite so many advancements in technology and science, where are we? Is the human race safer than it was before? We still have countries invading other countries. So much unnecessary suffering and pain. Neighbors still fighting one another and destroying the precious cities that they live in. Mind you, many relatives live on both sides of the border. Many soldiers don't want to fight their family and friends. Power and control can go to the heads of the leaders. It is barbarian that we still have to solve conflicts through war. How many countless wars do we need to understand that lesson? Wasn't World War I and World War II enough? Obviously, that wasn't the case. We have failed to understand that peace lies inside of us. When humanity discovers the jewel inside, peace will be on earth. This may seem too easy of a solution, which it is. It is the truth. Peace is not the absence of war. Peace is a state of mind. Corruption. The definition of corruption is dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving bribery. Let's be frank that this has been going on for thousands of years. The downfall of any civilization is when corruption is greater than the good. Corruption will bring any country, business, or person down in the end. You may amass vast fortunes and even become a billionaire. One who is corrupt will never find inner happiness when he is corrupt. The two never mix together. Happiness is a state of mind. Corruption is a state of mind. You can't mix happiness and corruption together. One is of the light, and the other is darkness. Man thinks that by acquiring power and wealth, he will be happy. This will never be the case. It's like a ghost trying to drink a bottle of whiskey. The whiskey will go completely through him. He will never get fulfillment by drinking the whiskey. Corruption is one of the main sources that has held humanity back. Many people who are in charge have no compassion for those underneath them. They think they are the chosen ones and privileged over others. This has been going on for thousands of years. A group of people feel they are entitled over others. The world will be in a better place when humanity understands that happiness lies within. This would change the course of the world. The world as we know it would change for the better. Once we understand and realize that material things can only bring temporary happiness, then our mindset will change for the better. Mind you, nobody is saying you can't be rich. They are saying you can't be rich by corruption. A happy man will not steal from another person. A happy man will never make laws that harm another person. A happy man will never declare war on his neighbor. A happy man will simply smile if you say something that he disagrees with. There's no point in arguing if the other person will never listen. We need to get rid of corruption once and for all. The Indians call this the Kali Yuga. It means the age of darkness. We are going from darkness to light, my friend. This is going to take some time for the light to shine in this world. Mind you, someday this will occur. Not so fast. Most prisoners in prison would probably give the following advice. Before you commit this action, is aware of the consequences. All it takes is one moment of hesitation before acting, which could save you prison time. Most prisoners realize it's their hot-blooded actions that they did that are the reason why they are in prison. Prison is a state of mind. One can live in the world and yet be in the prison of the mind. One can live in a prison and be totally free. Isn't that a paradox? Your state of mind determines whether you are in heaven or in a state of depression. Your actions totally predict your future. If you can't control your mind today, do you think you can control it in the future? One must be diligent in this process. Imagine you have dirty clothes that must go inside the washer. Yet, if you leave the clothes in the laundry basket, do you think the clothes can wash themselves? In the same way, we must turn on the washing machine within. We must add the soap and turn on the water. We must set the washer under a proper rinse cycle. As you know, these steps are needed to get your clothes clean. This is similar to brainwashing. We know brainwashing is extremely negative, yet there is a brainwashing of the soul that transforms one's personal life. In this state, one does not act harshly. One's actions are in harmony. One must be humble. A man full of ego will act quite hastily. How dare you say that to me? I'll teach you a lesson. It's all about the ego that gets one into such serious troubles as being in a prison. Even if one is living outside of the prison, one's awareness is still centered to the four walls within. Ponder this over. corruption. The definition of corruption is dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving bribery. Let's be frank that this has been going on for thousands of years. The downfall of any civilization is when corruption is greater than the good. Corruption will bring any country, business, or person down in the end. You may amass vast fortunes and even become a billionaire. One who is corrupt will never find inner happiness when he is corrupt. The two never mix together. Happiness is a state of mind. Corruption is a state of mind. You can't mix happiness and corruption together. One is of the light and the other is darkness. Man thinks that by acquiring power and wealth he will be happy. This will never be the case. It's like a ghost trying to drink a bottle of whiskey. The whiskey will go completely through him. He will never get fulfillment by drinking the whiskey. Corruption is one of the main sources that has held humanity back. Many people who are in charge have no compassion for those underneath them. They think they are the chosen ones and privileged over others. This has been going on for thousands of years. A group of people feel they are entitled over others. The world will be in a better place when humanity understands that happiness lies within. This could change the course of the world. The world as we know it will change for the better. Once we understand and realize that material things can only bring temporary happiness, then our mindset will change for the better. Mind you, nobody is saying you can't be rich. They are saying you can't be rich by corruption. A happy man will not steal from another person. A happy man will never make laws that harm another person. A happy man will never declare war on his neighbor. A happy man will simply smile if you say something that he disagrees with. There's no point in arguing if the other person will never listen. We need to get rid of corruption once and for all. The Indians call this the Kali Yuga. It means the age of darkness. We are going from darkness to light, my friend. This is going to take some time for the light to shine in this world. Mind you, someday this will occur. Lies, lies, lies. Lies, lies, lies. We've been lied to all our life. The funny thing is that the ones who are lying to us don't even realize they are lying. How's that for a paradox? It's been going on for thousands of years. Hans Christian Andersen wrote The Ugly Duckling. He understood that we are just not some lame ducks, yet we are all swans. We are all precious and sacred. As you know, storytelling has deeper meanings. At times, the only way to get your message across is through a story. The court jester knew all about that. He could tell a joke and everyone would laugh, yet out of costume, if he told the same joke, he would lose his head. The older I get, I see that the Matrix is alive. Quantum physics has blown the lid on who we truly are. Unfortunately, we still live in the Newtonian age. We believe that the external world is so real. Yet quantum physics says quite the opposite. We are just beginning to understand the quantum field. Yet the mystics of old had been talking about this for thousands of years. It's not something new. It's eternal and lies inside of you. Many people would say the opposite of a truth is a lie. Darkness is the absence of light. How can you see where you are going if you don't have a flashlight? Fortunately, everyone has a built-in flashlight inside of them. The wise man will simply turn it on. This may seem so simple, which it is. We think that discovering the jewel within would take such a heroic effort. Yet maybe, just maybe, all you have to do is turn on the flashlight. A newborn baby just smiles and has nothing to prove. The older we get, the more we think we have to prove ourselves to others. Maybe that's why mystics were considered misfits of their time. The universe doesn't judge. Only man is excellent at that. The first step to understanding that we have been told a lie is to ponder and think it over. If you never question life, how do you think you can understand its deeper secrets? The signpost is all around you, yet do you have the eyes to see? This riddle is meant to be solved by you. Riptides. If you are a surfer, you know all about riptides. A riptide is either your best friend or your worst enemy. A surfer who is in tune with the ocean would utilize these powers of nature to his advantage. For example, many surfers try to paddle out on a big day using paddle strength to get beyond the waves. They have to duck dive to get through the waves. This takes brute strength and stamina. By the time they get to the shore, to the lineup, they are exhausted. An experienced surfer will look for the riptide. He will paddle out there. It takes hardly any effort at all. On a huge day, a huge river will bring all the water back to the sea. The surfer just gets carried away by this river. Beginner surfers will not be in touch with the ocean when they wipe out. Instead of using the power of the waves to push them to shore, many will look for calm waters to swim to. This is a huge mistake, especially on a big day. By doing so, one gets caught in the riptide and gets dragged out to sea. Mind you, on many occasions, a lifeguard is needed. I have a personal mantra that says the spiritual life is the most practical life. You may think I'm not a surfer, nor do I live near the ocean. I'm from Kansas, the land of Oz. Yet those two forces exist in our lives. Life is an ebb and flow. There will be high tides and low tides in your life. You can't control them, yet you can be in harmony with them. Many times we get frustrated when things don't go our way. Well, at times we try to paddle out on a big day. We are paddling through the huge waves and duck diving. That takes, my friend, a lot of effort, a lot of wasted effort. A wise man simply paddles out in the riptide and lets the ocean of life take him to his destination. Sometimes when we wipe out in life, we try to get in through the riptide. We look for an easy way out of our situation. Unfortunately, the riptide will take you out to sea. This, my friend, is not a good situation to be in. A wise man will use the huge waves to drive him to the shore. Harmony is the key both for surfing and anything you do in life. Why they don't teach this in school dumbfounds me. We don't learn the most basic skills of how to live in life. Johnny, please turn to page 102 in your history book and read the first paragraph. That, my friend, is not an education. We are not taught properly. We are taught about the one who has great rote memory will succeed in life. Many of my friends could cram for a test overnight and max out the test. I could study for many hours and yet still not retain it in my memory. Yet ask me about something that occurred 50 years ago, and I have no problems with that. There's a huge difference between information and wisdom. Our school system teaches about information only. They don't talk about how to gather wisdom in life. And we wonder why we struggle in life. We never got proper surfing lessons. The world would change for the better. If everyone found peace within, the world would change for the better. If everyone was kind, the world would change for the better. If everyone loved their fellow man, the world would change for the better. If everyone had compassion, the world would change for the better. If everyone had the heart of a child, the world would change for the better. If everyone could eat a decent meal, the world would change for the better. If we stopped all wars, the world would be in a better place. If we had leaders who truly want to serve, the world would be in a better place. If we made laws that benefited all people instead of the rich, the world would be in a better place. If we truly had a universal health care for all, the world would be in a better place. If, as a society, we embrace preventative medicine instead of our current disease system, the world would be in a better place. If we truly embrace innovation and new inventions that were outside of the box, the world would be in a better place. If we truly had goodwill towards all, the world would be in a better place. If we truly listen to one another, the world would be in a better place. If we truly learned once again the art of compromise, the world would be in a better place. If we could embrace tolerance towards others, the world would be in a better place. So many years ago, my twin brother John wrote the background of this track. As a matter of fact, all my background tracks were created by him. We are a great team. John has always been my brother and also my best friend on this journey in life. We have been through a lot together. Life, at times, is like a huge wave which comes crashing down on you. At times, the ocean is perfectly calm and no waves whatsoever. We both started meditating around 18 when we were 18 years old. At that time, meditation and surfing were considered to be outside the norm of society. John and I always thought outside of the box. As you know, as youngsters, we grew up in the house of the future. Mind you, it was only 2 short years, yet it changed our life forever. Those early years were foundations for our entire life. Did you know the word idiot comes from the Latin word idiota? This literally translates as feet on the ground and your head in heaven. Yet today, this word is considered extremely derogatory. It seems like what is truth is fiction, and what is fiction is truth today. A wise man from the past once said that everyone knows the ocean is the source for all the raindrops. But did you know the raindrop contains the entire ocean? John and I have pondered this for over 50 years. Rationally, one can never understand this, nor Comprehend this with your mind. Through meditation, one gathers the inner wisdom that understands this riddle. There is a huge difference between eating a mango and describing a mango. You are the universe, and you just don't know it. This is a common mantra that John and I say. Modern day quantum physics and mystics are both talking about the same thing. John's music and my writings are a way, are ways where we can express the inner jewel that exists inside of us. This same jewel exists inside of you. The world would be in a better place when we all have that realization. Someday in the future, war will be a distant memory. Mark my words, this stream of peace has been there for eternity. Only mankind can bring peace to this planet. Nobody else can do it for you. The earth has had many incredible coaches coaxing man to discover his true nature. Now is the time to get off the fence and consciously discover the jewel that lies within you. Nadine. To be honest, I didn't know Nadine very well. Yet, this is a story within a story. There is a web of love tying us all together. I first met Nadine in South Africa 50 years ago. You can read more about my journey to South Africa in a couple of my books. Yet, there are certain people, as soon as you meet them, they become your best friend. Nadine was one of those rare and special people. She made everyone feel that they were her best friends. How is it possible to do that? She was just introduced to how to meditate. Now, this is where the story is full of synchronicity and surprises. Nadine's husband at that time, Michael, was the one who took the picture of me, Prem, and Bihari Singh on top of Table Mountain in Cape Town. When I returned to the States, he sent me a photo. Fast forward a few years, I was living in New York City. One day, my dear friend Bruce Sirota walked into a hall with Nadine. This is probably around 5 years since I haven't last seen either one of them. They were married at the time. Both of them invited me to their house in Brooklyn for dinner. Years later, I still remember the hospitality they gave. I first met Bruce in India months before I traveled to South Africa. I remembered him singing this poem, Creator of All, which Prem wrote around when he was 8 years old. Each time he sang that song, I was mesmerized. Yesterday, I was talking to my brother John, who lives now in the Netherlands. I told him about Nadine's passing. John reminded me that his wife, Hanali, met Bruce in England before Prim even came to the West. It's a small world. John also reminded me that they knew both Bruce and Nadine in Southern California. There's a web of love tying us all together. Sometimes it takes 50 years to see it. Reading the posts from Bruce and Nadine's brother Larry, many people wrote beautiful things about Nadine. We cherish the lives of those who no longer are among us. We come into this world, and someday we will leave this world. That is the unbroken law. Yet, while alive, we can connect to that thread of love tying us all together consciously. My condolences go out to all of Nadine's family and friends. A precious jewel no longer is here, yet her essence will always remain. No one will ever truly understand death, yet we can connect to that jewel that lies within. While we are alive, I hope I have in some way conveyed my feelings about her passing. We should treasure all those who are among us. That would probably be Nadine's message if she would give it today. Nobody knows when death will be knocking on your door. Yet one can discover the jewel that goes beyond life and death while we are alive. This jewel exists inside of us. I love smiles. I love smiles. I love when people smile. Smiling is a gift from God. When a person smiles just for a mere moment, they have let go of the baggage. We are so caught up in this world that we forget our true nature. Smiling is God's way of saying, all is well. There's nothing to worry about. Even if you're in grave danger, one can smile at the situation. One can get caught up in the hurricanes of the mind. One can live in the center of the hurricane. Big difference. A wise man simply smiles at life. He has nothing to prove. People may say, why does the wise man not speak so much? That, my friend, is a riddle you might want to solve. A newborn baby just smiles. That smile can light up a room. That exact smile exists inside of you. At times we carry a half-whimpering smile. We paste the smile on our face. I remember many moons ago, my friend Mark, his house burnt down. The next day I see Mark's father and ask him, how's it going? He puts on a phony smile and pretended nothing ever happened. At least he pretended to smile. Sometimes that's the least we can do. He didn't wallow in the sorrow or pain. I look back at that event differently than I did many moons ago. During this time, I see a half-baked smile is better than none. A phony smile is better than none. Even with a phony smile, One can release chemicals of joy in their chemistry set. Scientists have proven that when one smile, over 1,500 chemicals gets released into the bloodstream. How incredible that is! The universe provides the means to discover the inner jewel simply by smiling. Yet the key is to be conscious and aware. We live such unconscious lives. Over 95% of our actions come from our subconscious minds. That means only 5% of our actions are conscious awareness. Smiling can be contagious. I remember when I was young, I would get angry for some reason. My brother John would always just smile at me. I would get angrier and angrier. He would just keep on smiling. It reached the point where I started to smile. My bubble of anger burst. I went in less than a second from anger to joy. Sometimes, just by the simple act of smiling, we can change someone else's mood. That is a miracle all by itself. The next time someone smiles at you, be aware that the universe is winking at you. Wink, wink, you are the universe. You just don't know it. If we all came from the heart, if we all came from the heart, this world would be a better place. Inside your heart lies the hidden treasure. Mystics have been talking about this for thousands of years. This treasure is your true essence. Why can't I see this treasure? You may say. Many people's mirror is covered with mud. How can you see the reflection in the mirror if it's covered with mud? The answer is obviously you can. Therefore, you believe in the existence of only the physical. The majority of the world's problems would disappear like a thief in the night if we understood our true nature. The majority of the problems to this world stem from a lack of wisdom. Because we think we are separate beings, our whole state of existence is in a state of duality. In this state, one can't see the forest from the trees. This is why wars still exist on the earth. We may have incredible technology, yet isn't it being used for the right things? Without the world coming from the heart, chaos will ensue upon this planet. Each of us is responsible for solving this mystery. Even Sherlock Holmes would have to solve this mystery. He could solve almost any external mystery. Yet, the greatest mystery is to solve it inside oneself. The external world is a reflection of our internal world. It seems like currently mankind is throwing trash into their own living rooms. Not a wise idea. Yet even though we are doing so, we don't have the wisdom to see what we are doing. Isn't that ironic? We were never taught this in schools. Common sense is uncommon. You would think that humanity would catch on and understand this riddle. Yet, the war in Ukraine is still going on with no end in sight. Most people on both sides of the war don't want to fight in the first place. It seems so barbaric that in today's age we have leaders who believe in going to war without any good reasons. The world and the mystic and the one physicist is coming together. Maybe mankind should join this age. We have been living in the Newtonian age for ever so long. Why does humanity sit on the fence and not do anything about it? Oh, we bitch and moan, yet we don't do anything about it. Why is mankind so lethargic? It's like our attitude is, I'm so small, I do not affect the outcome of this world. Yet, even quantum scientists know that you are the universe. You just don't know it. The entire universe exists inside of you. You are the microcosm of the universe. Behind your breath lies the answer. I hope that you take these words and ponder them over. There is a mystery to be solved. The world would be in a better place if we all came from our hearts. The beauty of living. Wow, I'm alive. That is the greatest miracle. What is keeping you alive? Behind your breath lies the answer. Unfortunately, it's so obvious, so we don't believe it. Signposts are all around, yet do we have the eyes to see? We see only 1% of the light spectrum. Imagine heaven could be all around us, and yet we live in a state of so many nightmares. We get so lost in the world that we have forgotten our true nature. Life is beautiful. Life is sacred. Most indigenous tribes believe in carrying on the sacred tradition of their ancestors. Modern day man uses nature as it pleases. Two different mindsets. One leads to harmony with nature. The other leads to the chaotic world that we live in. As Prem once said, we saw off the branch that we are sitting on. He said this 50 years ago today. Man is still sawing the branch that we are sitting on. Fortunately, mankind is slowly waking up to his slumber. Each one of us is responsible for waking up from our slumber. It's the most difficult thing to do, yet at the same time, it's the easiest thing to do. Yes, it is a divine paradox. The mind will never comprehend this. Only the heart can comprehend this paradox. Only a child of heart can understand this message.